One morning, Applejack arrived to school and was greeted by her friends Pinky, Rarity, and Sunset. Since they was waiting for her since Vice Principal Luna and Principal Celestia had gathered all the students in the gym hall for announcement. Since it turns out a new student is going to start at school. When Vice Principal Luna steps in with the student, it turns out to be a girl by the name Cremita. Every of the students looked at her and wondered, seems to be an ordinary girl, but when Applejack saw her, she was not what she expected. She immediately felt her heart was racing faster for each single second when she looked at her. And then suddenly, when Celestia had asked Cremita to tell something about herself, Cremita said that she had recently moved with her mother to this new town after she had started working as a nurse at the hospital there, and she was just happy to be starting at a new school and have this opportunity to make more friends. And then suddenly, when Vice Principal Luna had asked if any student would like to be her guide for the day, and then immediately Applejack stood up and said, "I can be her guide." Everyone in the gym hall just looked at Applejack. Even her friends, like, what? Even they all surprised to see that she even offered right away. So she walked down to her, to Cremita and Luna Celestia, shook her hand, and said her name was Applejack, but she can call her AJ, as most of her friends do. While the others went to the classrooms, Applejack took with Cremita around the school to show her around, like how to find the library, the school nurse, the cafeteria, one of the classrooms where they suspect to have the class. And after all that, they went separate ways. Cremita went to her first class, which was science, and Applejack went to math. Even though during math, Applejack had no idea, when every time when she thought about Cremita, she felt warm inside. But she didn't pay much attention to it at first. Even though that Applejack didn't want to tell anyone about these particular feelings because she had no idea what it meant, or she thought maybe it was some random feelings she had. So the rest of the day, everything went back normal. But during lunch break, while Applejack was sitting with her friends, suddenly someone walked up to the table and asked if she could sit there. And it turns out to be Cremita. Twilight and Rarity sat there she could sit down, and they all had this amazing time. They all talked to Cremita, didn't get to know her better, and even though Cremita was a little bit shy at first, but slowly opened up more, get to know the others better, and she actually got to know every one of them even better. Especially with Sunset and Rainbow. Even Rainbow were surprised to see knowing that Cremita used to play soccer in her old school, but she lost interest in that. But she was still good at it. And Rainbow, by random chance, said, "Oh, you had to prove it, though." "Alright, how about at school?" Alright, sounds good." So after school, when everyone was had to just go home, the others, though, they went to the football play at the soccer field outside behind school to make it prove it. First, Applejack stood by the others, watching them, while Rarity was the judge. Even when Rainbow stood at the goal and protected the ball from even reach it, But Cremita showed she was a very excellent soccer player, and she made 5 goals of 4, 5 of 10. That was some improvement from even from Rainbow. But for Rainbow though, she managed to get at least 4 of 10 inside in the goal. Even she admits she was very good, excellent, not only as protector of the goal and a soccer player. Even after all that happened, Sunset then mentioned, asked if anyone was hungry, maybe they can go to Sugar Cube Cafe to have something to eat. And they even invited Cremita. She said yes. But then suddenly Applejack said, "Oh, I can't. I My grandma asked me to help at the farm." "Oh, well, maybe another time then," said Sunset, and the other left. But Applejack was lying for the first time. There were no help at the farm. But the others believed that. When she got home, though, she laid on the bed, just stared at the roof, and wondered, why should I even lie to my friends? I haven't done that before. When suddenly a knock on the door, and there was her big brother, Macintosh. "Hey, AJ, are you home so early?" "Yeah." "Well, you have a phone call." "A phone call? Who is it?" "I don't know, there's some girl." "Is it one of my friends?" Um, I don't know. There was a voice that I didn't recognize. Her name was Cremita, I think. Wait, she's calling here? Now? Yeah. Yeah, I can say that you're busy. No, I can take it. It turns out Cremita wanted to ask Applejack if she could help her with the homework for the weekend. And Applejack's, yeah, do you want me to come over there, or you here, or we? Turns out she wanted to be at her place. So Applejack was given the address, and she drove all the way to her home on some Saturday. When she arrived, though, her mother opened the door and she asked, "Hi, you must be Applejack." "Yeah, I am." "Well, she's on her room upstairs in the first door to the left." "Alright, thanks." Applejack and Cremita spent the rest of the day together during their for the homework, and after being doing that for almost 2 hours, they decided to take a break and have something to eat. So when they were eating in the kitchen, Applejack asked, "I see you're living with your mom already all yourself." "Yeah." "Where is your dad?" "My dad died when I was only as a baby in a car accident." "Oh, sorry to hear that." "Yeah." And Applejack explained that she had also lost both of her parents, and that she had been raised by her grandmother along with her brother and younger sister Apple. Something that they both had something in common. They both had lost some loved one so young, and that made them bond even more closer. Then Applejack asked, "What did you like to do in your old school? Like, did you have any hobbies? You went any clubs or something?" Applejack Cremita said that she did actually join the soccer club, and the baking club. She loved the baking with her mother and her grandmother before she passed herself only about 2 years before they moved. And Cremita was very sad that he was talking about it. But then Applejack said, "Let's talk about something else. What's about your favorite movie?" And that was something Cremita just lighted up. She said that her favorite movie was a recent Daring Do movie. Mine too. I mean, I've seen most all of them. Even Rainbow, she reads all the books about Daring Do. I mean, they're a good series. Even though most of the time when they all that talked, Applejack, she had totally forgot about the feelings he had towards Cremita. At first he thought maybe there was just some random feelings he had. But after that she had left, Cremita then asked if maybe she would like to do something, just two of them. Maybe go to fishing or something like that they can do. Applejack said, yeah, I can maybe do something. Maybe go to the movies. Maybe see the new movie that came out soon. Yeah, that would be great. And when then before she asked, when before Applejack just left the house, wait, I'm going to ask, would that be as a date? That made Cremita blush a lot. She had no word to say except, but she couldn't say a single word. But then she nodded. That made Applejack blush a lot. So it is as a date? And she just nodded again. Alright then. See you on your Friday then. Yeah, see you then. When Cremita closed the door, she stood there, holding her hands over her heart as it felt it was beating so much faster. She had a racing heart, and she was so warm inside. This was something that she didn't even dare to do at first. It turns out, only a few days before all this happened, Cremita had actually had some sort of crush on Applejack. But she hadn't even realized it until just that moment when Applejack asked if there was a date. Applejack, though, when she got home, everything felt differently. No one was home at the time, so she had her whole house for herself. She just laid on her bed and thinking, and thinking. She wondered, what is it that's going on? Have I fallen in love with Cremita? Or is something else going on? Cremita was doing the exact same thing. She was laying on the couch in the living room and was thinking, had she fallen in love with Applejack? Or was it some just random feeling she had towards her? But she decided not to tell her mother about this because she really don't know how her mother would react to all this. But she decided to tell her mother at least at some point, but not for now. But when her mother came home, she asked how the homework went with Applejack, and she said everything went well. But for most after this, though, through the rest of the weekend, Applejack and Cremita didn't speak each other. But the only one who knew all about this happened was actually only Rarity, which Applejack had called and told her. And that made Rarity shine up and ask, oh, can you give me the details? But there was much details to give him in the first place. Only that they made a deposit on a date, and that was all they could tell. But she promised not to tell anyone. But unfortunately, though, even though she had promised not to tell anyone, but when Applejack came to school, turns out everyone knew about her date with Cremita. When Flash walked up to her and asked, so are you feeling ready for your date with Cremita on Friday? Wait, how do you know that? What? Everyone knows. Everyone? That made her a little bit upset. So she walked up to Rarity's locker when she was staying there. Rarity, I told you not to tell anyone. But I didn't tell, not even anyone. But how can everyone here in school know about my date with Cremita? But it turns out, though, that after they had tried to ask around who told, first there was someone had heard from one other, but after they had asked Applebloom, she had been told by someone that directly knew all about this. And it turned out to be Sweetabelle. She had just by random accident walked by Rarity's room and by accident heard about this. She heard about this news that Applejack is on a date with the new girl Cremita. And by then she had even told Applebloom and Scootaloo. And soon they had told a few others, and soon the entire school knew about it. And even Sweetabelle, Applebloom, and Scootaloo asked for forgiveness because they didn't know at first. But since the damage was already done, Applejack forgave them. But they promised in the future not to tell anyone if it was a secret. And for Cremita, when many had asked her about the same question, she felt very much blushing, almost red-faced, but realized now the secret had come out and she had no idea what to do except admit it was true. Because first she tried to say, no, no, that is not true. But since after many others had asked the same question, so she admits that was the truth. But that didn't stop their feelings towards each other. Even after all these things had happened. On Friday, Applejack drove all the way to Cremita's home, and when she opens the door, she wears this red dress, and she was like, "Wow, you look amazing." And Cremita just thanked, and they both went to the movies. There, they had this amazing time. Both could not stop laughing and watching the movies when it was on. They even hold hands during the movies going on, and that was a good sign from both for their true love for each other. Even after the movie was over, it was still enough. It was around 6 p.m. Even Applejack had asked if she was hungry, but before she could answer, Cremita's stomach was growling of hunger, and that she took as a sign. So they went to this burger place nearby, and there they talked about the movie and just having a great time. Even after that, after then, Applejack drove her home, and there they gave each other a kiss. But before that, just before Cremita walked in, she turned around to Applejack and said she had this amazing time and wished that they could be a couple. And that was something Applejack said, "We can be that." And then she ran up to Applejack once again, hugged her, and gave her a kiss, and before she walked in. Applejack. For her, it felt like eternity had stopped. She felt really much happy. She was like on cloud nine, and she was just so beyond happy. When she came home, she had a computer call with her friends, and they all wanted details. They want to know how the things went. And when she said that the day was going well, they had a great time in the movie, holding hands, went to the burger place nearby, had something to eat, talked about the movie, and when when she kissed her, and when she asked her to be a girlfriend, and the second day kissed, all her friends were listening carefully, and They all start to scream of joy. Even Rarity of all was so happy her friend had actually been found someone to be with. Even after a few weeks after all this first, they had been on a few more dates. And even after they'd been dating for about 2 weeks, she Cremita told her mother about her and Applejack. Cremita was very scared how her mother would react at first, but she wasn't even much against the entire idea of her daughter dating a girl, because she had actually told her that she had a few co-workers at her work who is dating girl another woman who is also a woman. So she didn't mind that she is actually open for that kind of relationship. And of course, that made her real happy that her mother was supportive. Even they might had some big fight. They had some small fights what to do after school, since ever since Cremita wanted to be more with Applejack, but she couldn't at that time because Applejack had to help at the farm, and Cremita later found out she had to be home watching the house when her mother is out because, well, something has happened. But they always worked it out, and during the winter, but just before the holiday, just 2 weeks before the holiday break, Cremita suddenly stopped going to school. And for the reason why she didn't go to school anymore, it was that she had the flu, and it was a very bad one. So she couldn't go to school, and of course she would have missed the Red 2 last week's, but Applejack promised to inform her to fill her in with the details of the events that had taken place, even when she missed the school dance. But Applejack had something in mind though. When after the school was over, and when Cremita was back to health again, she had arranged a secret school dance just for her and Applejack, or at least for her and Cremita at the farm. Her friends had helped her to decorate the barn so they can have the dance with them. So the girls had asked their boyfriends to be there as well as another school dance, which they didn't mind. And even there, when Applejack told Kermit about this, she just cried of happy joys. She didn't had still looking forward to the school dance, but since she got sick, she missed it. But how Applejack had been so worked so well with some of her friends with help from her friends to make sure she wouldn't miss it, to have their own school dance. She felt happy about it. Even after all much of this happened, Granny Smithamo was very happy to see her granddaughter happy, and she had even told her that Applejack's parents would have been so proud to see their daughter so happy with someone, even as a girl, but she even knew her parents would have been supportive. Hearing that made her really happy. Applejack was happy to have a girlfriend like Cremita. And after almost 4 years after they finished the school, Applejack still remained working at the farm and even sometimes even provided things for the school like applesauce, apple juice, or even some cider for some parties or sort of things. But still, she even started working at a local food store for the most as a main source of food, income. What about Cremita? Since she even liked to help with Františaj at the animal shelter, which she then started working for full time. Even after they had been living, after they had been together for 4 years, they decided to start moving in together. So Applejack looked around in town for an apartment for them both. So she found an apartment which then both of them could stay in. And after 2 years of being otherwise more than been living together, for about been together for 6 years, Applejack asked Cremita if she wanted to marry her, which Cremita said yes right away. She couldn't wait for that. And even when they told their families, they all could not have been happier. Even Granny Smith felt that both her son and her daughter-in-law, Pure Butter, would have been very, very happy, but most of all, proud of the daughter to be married. Even Applejack had asked Rarity to be her bridesmaid. Cremita had asked Fluttershy to be her bridesmaid. And after this wedding took place, though, they had a small party, which Pinky had organized. Yep. And after all this happened, what happened later on? Well, they actually went to a cabin which Pinky had rented for some other friends for them. And there they had this amazing time on their honeymoon. But when they came back, they went back to their own home. But after almost being married for about 3 years, they felt ready to start a family. So they adopted a boy, and who was about 5 when they had him. But later they would want to have more children. So they adopted 2 daughters, sisters. One was about 6, another one was about 3 years old. But then they had one problem. They needed a bigger place to stay in. So they managed to buy a small house nearby the farm. So they had this amazing place there. Even if they needed some babysitters, could always ask Granny Smith, Big Mac, or Apple Blue. Even as the time grew past for them, as time passed, everything was going well. If all this wouldn't have been possible if Applejack hadn't even asked Cremita if their first, when they said it was a date, if she hadn't, it's very possible they would never have end up dating or having this amazing family. That's how Applejack and Cremita found a true love and got a big family. The end.